The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
As preparations continued for Sunday's midday clash with Southampton, commentators fixed their focus on the possibility that Marlon Pack might not only make the squad, but start the game. John Mousinho told reporters that his captain's recovery from the ankle injury, which kept him out of recent games, has been speedier than at first feared. He also revealed that Pack has been out training with the rest of the squad, although he did not divulge the intensity or otherwise of the routines that were asked of him. One source claimed that Pack would start bringing his talismanic qualities to the pitch right from the kickoff, and at the expense of John Swift, who has effectively been Pack's stand-in since he picked up his injury. It would be tough luck on Swift, who has done nothing wrong in what gets called the number 6 shirt nowadays. Others disagree. There is also disagreement over whether Chaplin will start in the number 10 slot, or since it would be a baptism of fire surrounded by new teammates, he may start on the bench and get a good look close up at his colleagues before getting a run out later in the game. There are also discussions about who should wear the number 2 shirt, at right back, with some going for Swanson's attacking strengths, and others siding with the obvious defensive capabilities of Williams. A fascinating team selection will be announced at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and what we do know is that John Mousinho is perfectly capable of not telling the truth. All right, in his own words, sometimes I tell lies, and for good reason, because you don't want your opponents to know everything they need to know in order to provide a sterner test than they would have done if you keep them guessing or keep them in absolute ignorance. It seemed logical to start with Chaplin because he is now probably Pompey's premier player, given his recent background. But he doesn't know his teammates inside out. We don't know how fit he is. Didn't he miss the last 2 games for Ipswich and not get a run out at all? I don't know whether that would impact his absolute 100% match fitness, match sharpness or not. But they were watching him in training. They know things about all of the Pompey players that we don't know. We don't know how sharp Chaplin's been in training in his time with Portsmouth. Short time, but nevertheless he's a professional. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to do it. And ditto, John Mousinho knows what to do and how to do it and how to convince other people that he might be planning on doing something else. Playing Marlon Pack from the start does seem like a little bit of a risk, but only Pack and the medics will know and understand the extent of his recovery. And if it's complete, then he becomes viable in the number 6 shirt, taking that back from John Swift, who has done a very good job, but his day will come again, of course, perhaps in a position more to his liking than being a number 6. So in a sense, he would welcome wrestling with the likes of Chaplin and Segicic for the number 10 shirt. As for the right-back position, it depends on whether you think Pompey should play safe and go for the slightly more profound defensive qualities that Williams allegedly possesses. He's also very good coming forward. Or whether you prefer the extra attacking options that Zach Swanson would bring to the game. But he's also very sound in defence. So that's almost a coin toss, that one. Both Pack and Chaplin represent, their selection or otherwise, represents a fascinating insight into the way Pompey are probably going to approach the game. Are they going to kill it off in the early stages, quieten the crowd down, who simply have a numerical advantage, not a vocal advantage at all? Pound for pound, penny for penny, Pompey can outsing anybody, with the possible exception of the spy on Cop. But they'll be outnumbered, won't they? Must be something like 10 or 15 to 1 on Sunday, at Sunday lunchtime. So the Southampton will have all that going for them. They'll be sucking the ball into our net if they can. The huge crowd, really sort of jazzed up crowd, really electrified by the occasion and their need, since they've got home advantage, to win one over on us. So it's going to be electric. It's electric from now, whenever you're listening to these words. It's electric from now until 12 o'clock and then 2 o'clock, when we'll know the result and we'll know whether, as Dan Shaw put it, we're going out to celebrate or otherwise. But whichever way, since he's going to need disinfectant. Ha ha ha, we like that line. John Mousinho on the importance of Sunday's game.
For the city of Portsmouth and everyone connected to the football club, a win would mean more than just 3 points, Mousinho told BBC Sport. It means a huge amount to everyone here. I guarantee that we will do everything we possibly can to win. We'll try to come away with 3 points, and whatever happens will probably affect everyone's weeks, years and seasons. Everyone has been talking about it since the fixtures came out, he said. It's pretty much all everyone speaks about, and I think it's going to be a brilliant game. The atmosphere in the ground and around the game is going to be completely different to anything we have experienced so far. I don't think anything can properly prepare you for it, apart from being sure we are ultra-professional, making sure we expect it, and then use it to our advantage. If you speak to any professional footballer, they want to play in front of hostile crowds in big games and then relish it.
Yet more excellent insight from our excellent manager, John Messino. He says if you speak to any professional footballer, they want to play in front of hostile crowds in big games and relish it. And that's good to know. I think it's probably what we would have suspected. There might be one or two shrinking violets who'd rather hide, but we ain't got none in blue shirts. And I don't suppose they have any in those fancy little red and white stripes that they sometimes wear up the road. Everyone will be up for it. Everyone in the crowd, everyone, every steward, every barkeep, every copper. I've often wondered whether coppers have to declare their footballing allegiance like referees do. Referees have to declare if they're a fan of Norwich or so-and-so, so that they don't get given Norwich games. One can only hope and assume that they tell the truth on that one. Of course they do. I don't know about coppers, but they hopefully won't have much to do until the game is over, and then all they've got to do is get home and have their Sunday roast. So, still looking forward to it, still relishing it, because, John, I know, used to be a football fan before you became a footballer, and obviously before you became a excellent football manager. If you speak to any fan, John, they want to be part of, I'm going to say the word hostile, it's your word, hostile, wound up, beefed up crowd, watching big games and then relishing it. Can't wait. Can you? John Messino on the early materialisation of the potential of our new centre-forward, young Mackenzie Kirk.
Mackenzie comes down with good experience of men's football and scoring goals at a decent level. We actually haven't seen Mackenzie yet because he's been away with the 21s and got some game time there, which is pleasing. We feel he can impact the side now, which you can see because he's already been playing men's football. He has played across the front line, but we see him as a centre-forward. He has a really good physical profile, and that is where we think he'll fit in best. At the minute, in terms of wide areas, we've brought in that pace and power at the top end of the pitch. We now have Franco, Murph, Minyuk Yang, Florian Bianchini and Harvey, when he's back fit, so we feel we're okay in those wide areas. We just needed a bit of centre-forward backup. He's a very, very willing runner, which is brilliant first and foremost. He runs the channels very well and is a difficult centre-forward to play against. Physically he's tall, he's lean and he's quick, with a decent enough eye for the back of the net for a young player. There's definitely parts of his game that are good, but we need to keep working on his hold-up play, his link play, and make sure he drops in, as well as spinning and running the channels. I'd describe him as an athletic centre-forward who likes to run the channels, with a decent eye for goal as well.
We have to remember that John Messino uses a technique that Jose Mourinho was one of the first to adopt, and I think it's probably common practice now amongst managers, head coaches, to, during the course of an interview when talking about a player, saying the things he wants the player to know and believe in himself. So John Messino is always picking on players, picking up players, mentioning players, talking about players in the way that he wants them to see themselves. So here he is now talking about this young man as being ready to make his first team debut because he's experienced in playing amongst male adult footballers, because he's fast, because he's tall, because he's got good physique, because Messino wants him to be a goal scorer rather than play wide, which is what he's capable of doing. He wants him as a number 9, but somebody who can also play in the channels. He wants him to learn how to hold the ball up and how to lay it off. And he wants him to carry on spinning and attacking in the channels. So important, that area between the centre half and the fullback, the channel. That's what he wants Mackenzie to turn into the kind of player he wants Mackenzie to turn into, and a good way of helping Mackenzie do that is by giving an interview which then appears on Mackenzie's device. And we all know, I mean, everyone's the same. If they think there's something about them on the internet or on Twitter or X, whatever it is, or Instagram or Facebook, then they're drawn to it. It's very difficult to avoid being drawn to reading something about yourself. So whilst footballers sometimes read negative things about themselves and it gets to them, Mousinho makes sure that there's plenty there for them to read about themselves, which is going to make them better footballers, better colleagues at Fratton Park. And that's what this interview was all about. So now we know the kind of player that Mousinho wants Mackenzie Kirk to grow into, and he's got plenty of time to grow because he's still a teenager. Is he not? But evidently one with enormous potential and who gets the gaffer's best kid glove treatment.